Okay, let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the reason I made this video. This is the top 5 hip hop southern albums of all time. Or you can talk about the top 5 albums from the South. And I always have no problem with number 1. You know, and number 1 and number 2, no problems. It's always that 3, 4, and 5 list. Because it's like all jam-packed up there. No matter what you put up there, people are going to have a complaint. This is not an easy list to do. But believe me, the top 5 up there, they deserve to be up there. So, number 5, I have Crime Boss, All in the Game. Now, y'all might not remember this CD, or might not remember Crime Boss. But he destroyed everything he was ever on when he was with Suave House. That Crime Boss CD had to be reprinted and sent out because they didn't press that many copies. People were bringing that copy over the state lines. Everybody had Crime Boss tape. Crime Boss was on every car I could think of. Crime Boss, well, 8Ball and 8Ball MJG paved the way to open the door to let that happen. But Crime Boss is number 5, definitely. All time, best album, all the way through. Every song on that album, every song on All in the Game is a hit. It's gonna knock. And the lyrics, man, they on point. I mean, it's that gangster smooth stuff, man. I'll tell you, they had it. They had it. This was tough. Number 4 is really tough. But I'm going with Mac, Shell Shock. Mac Shell Shock is number 4. Now, people's like, who is Mac? Mac from No Limit Records had one of the best CDs I've ever heard from No Limit, period. Hands down. People gonna say, what about Ghetto Dope? What about Mystical? Mac CD was a No Limit CD. Everybody was on it, but it had the best production and the best songs. And if you don't believe me, go back and listen to Mac Shell Shock. Mac Shell Shock didn't get the praise that a lot of the other songs and a lot of the other albums got. But my goodness, it was the best. It was the best out of anything No Limit has put out. Shout out to Ghetto Dope. Honorable mentions to the True album, the double CD. Because that first True double CD almost made the list, baby. It's in the top 10, but it ain't on this list. So now we on number 3, which is UGK Riding Dirty. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You know, Bun B, Pimp C, they killed that CD. Killed it. They took it to a level where nobody thought they could go, production-wise and lyrically. You know, lyrically, they were the best at really putting it down. As far as like, man, we didn't expect that coming from these guys, but they was some OG dropping knowledge and spitting that real. And that brings you to number 2. Nobody spit more real than Scarface, The World Is Yours. It's really a tie for number 1 for me. But Scarface, The World Is Yours, I mean, it's a tie for number 1. I put it at number 2. Only because I just went back and listened to both CDs. And I just had to put it at number 2 because number 1 is cemented in stone. And the reason why I got to give honorable mentions to a lot of these CDs opened doors. They weren't the best work, but it was damn near good enough, and it opened a lot of doors. 8Ball and MJG coming out hard opened up a lot of doors for a lot of artists to come out to make these albums, and I want to make sure I give them their proper respect. And to me, people argue on what was their best CD. I have a hard time with that, because on the outside looking in, to me, wasn't their best work. A lot of people loved it, and I liked it too, but it wasn't their best work. It's just when they had Lay It Down, it was just, come on, it was over. Lay It Down just killed everything. And I liked On Top of the World, as I think they were more polished by On Top of the World than anything else. And by that time, they were everywhere. And they had Space Age Pimpin', and I mean, yeah, they were more polished on Top of the World. They were ready. They had some bread. They could really expand and do the things that they really wanted to do. Let me see. Other mentions. We got Master P, Ghetto Dope, True to the Game. Ghetto Boys, We Can't Be Stopped is up there. My goodness. What was that? Chapter 1, 666. 666 got a lot of them. They got like 2 or 3 that's got to be in the mix. Chamillionaire, you got to give him props for his album. Some people like Mike Jones' album, hell no. Number 6 on my list is Devin the Dude, so he's my number 6. I like this album better than any album 8Ball and MJG ever did. Devin the Dude was my guy. I just love his flow. Period. He's too smooth, and every hook he dropped was a killer. Young Buck album when on G Unit. T.I. Paper Trail is up there. Man. So many, man. I just can't sit here and go through all of them. But number 1 is Outkast Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. And people are going to argue and complain and kick something over, but never been done before. I swear to you, it has never been done before. People have always came out with the player beats, and nobody spit no game like they was spitting, and how they spit it, and the type of music and the beat. We was like, whoa, this what they listening to in Atlanta? Is they from New York? They from Atlanta? It's New York, but it ain't New York. You know, it's like they flow like they from the East Coast, but they got Southern accents. It's like, what the heck is going on over here? Who that East Coast dude? And they was like, no, they from the A, and they let it be known. Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music not only is the best rap album to ever come out of the South, but it has been mimicked over and over again, and they still can't get it right. And this album came out when nobody was trying to hear what the South had to say. They were breaking down major doors. Because the South was the thing that is cool, but they were being accepted in places where everybody else really wasn't getting it played and getting accepted at. They was getting accepted on the East Coast in New York. Because they wouldn't even play 8Ball and MJG in New York. DJs, I'm like, man, y'all don't want to play Lay It Down? It was a Midwest classic. It went from the South to the Midwest. 8Ball and MJG, we blew the South up. The South got pumping here, then they went to the Midwest, then they was attacking the East Coast. But the East Coast, they DJs, they was so against the South. And the West Coast and all that, they just, if it ain't New York, we ain't gonna even play them. You know, it was, you gotta either be there in New York and make some friends to get the DJs to even try to play some of it. But then there was some renegade DJs out there that was trying to bring in culture. They, you know, so I do give them props. You know, it was some people out there in New York trying, but the major networks is what I'm talking about. So y'all tell me y'all 5. A lot of people gonna say, how you about the Fiend album? I know that's coming. I know I'm gonna hear about that. What about, oh yeah, my man Trick Daddy. I can't forget Trick Daddy. Trick Daddy is definitely in there. Trick was, oh man, Trick had 3 albums. What's that one? The album he had? The one, yeah, baby, I was good. And then that's the one that blew up. And the album before that, I think it was the www.thug.com, baby. Shut up! Yeah, that album. My cousin brought that to me because that's all he listened to. Man, I'm thinking of old times now. They bringing out Trina. That's when I first heard Trina. You know, Nene. I'm like, who's this little rat they done brought out? Trina. And I start seeing her in videos like, oh man, take it to the house. I'm like, whoa, who is this taking it to the house?